Hello, okay, so for today's video I'm going to show how I created these 4 paintings in my sketchbook, and I used one colour for all of them, which was Payne's Grey. Apart from the one at the end I added a little bit of ultramarine blue. So I'm using a really simple basis for all these paintings, and I'm doing these minimalist landscapes, and more or less I'm placing a dark strip of paint in the centre, and then I'm allowing myself to be quite intuitive about the painting I'm creating, and I'm responding to what's happening on the page. And this is quite a good way of practicing your watercolour techniques, and it's quite relaxing. And you can also just create some really nice minimalist paintings by doing something like this. I think the trick is to try and get the paint really dark in places, and also to think about which areas you're going to leave as white, so that you get a nice contrast, a nice balance between the tones. Okay, so it was actually quite a hot day when I painted these, so it was quite challenging because the paint was drying quite quickly. And that's why another reason I think doing these kind of minimalist practice paintings in your sketchbook is great, because it also gives you a really good understanding of how the paint can behave differently depending on the weather conditions. But for anyone who's new to my channel, my name's Bella Edgley and I'm an artist based in the south of England. And on my channel I have loads of watercolour demonstrations where I'm using watercolour in a contemporary way, sometimes very minimalist and sometimes a little bit more involved and layered. So I've used 2 brushes so far for this painting. I've got a really nice thin, more pointed brush, which is this one, and then I've got another oval shaped brush, which is good for sort of pulling that paint up when I do these larger expanses, these sort of larger washes. I'll put a link to those brushes in the description. Okay, so I'm going to put the music up for a bit now, and then I'll jump in again towards the end. Okay, so I worked into this painting quite a bit more than the previous one, and I'm using a sketchbook with quite thick paper. It's 250 GSM, so you can work into the painting quite a bit, and it's fairly forgiving. You can lift off paint and you can use quite a lot of water. And actually what happened with this one was that I decided it was finished, and I had sort of finished my sketchbook session for the day, but I actually went away and came back the next morning, and I decided that this painting needed something a little bit more, and I just added a darker line in the centre with the Payne's grey, and I also just added a tiny bit of blue ultramarine to that white area, and that really just kind of lifted the whole painting, and I was really happy with it once I'd done this. So I really hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and it might inspire you to do something similar, and if you do, then please let me know how you get on in the comments. I have a pre-recorded short course called Minimalist Watercolour Landscapes and Beyond, which you might be interested in. If you like this video, you can check out the description for more information about that. Okay, so here's a final look at those paintings. And like I said, let me know how you get on in the comments if you try something similar. I really love talking to people about watercolour painting, and I reply to every comment. Okay, so hope to see you in the next one. Bye!